here I'm trying to get over, and he says to let me beat him in 9 seconds, and we'll talk about that when we get
there.
I
but at this point,
forward.
he's certainly a nice guy, I guess, right? In 1981.
He is, but my opinion like that changes from minute to minute.
Right.
I liked you a couple minutes
I was
ago.
going to say, I've seen that firsthand. Your TV debut.
This is a beautiful garment, Sean. If
Thank you.
I
appreciate that. I enjoy you touching me, actually.
It's a good. A suit like this. Does this come in men's sizes? Because I wouldn't mind getting one. If they could taper it wide enough for my shoulders and narrow it enough for my hips and waist.
If you'd like to hear the first time that joke was told on a Kayfabe Commentaries program, please grab Ring Roasts 1, the comedic tribute to the Iron Sheik, or 2, the comedic tribute to Terry Funk.
Oh, you are such a whore. You make a promo for every one of your products, no matter what anybody says.
Rick Martel and Tony Gurria beat Chris Kanyon and Johnny Rodz. You're going to be on TV now for most weeks following this, putting over Mil Mascaras, Tony Atlas,
I put him over a dozen
Dusty
times.
Rhodes. Yeah. Talk about the life of the enhancement talent. If you're going to continue to work, you've got to have your opponent's best interest in mind. You've got to be someone who can make them look great. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's I was so green. I mean, I was green as grass. So I don't know how much. Looking back, like I wasn't very aggressive with those guys, and I should have been more. But I just kind of like them and let them dictate the match. And the heel, it should be you dictating the match. You know what I mean? But I wasn't in a position to do that with those guys. You know, because they were veterans, like they were the tag team champions at the time.
Right.
Martel.
Yeah. And
I was just there to put them over, but. Enhancement talent, I like that because you're really just a nobody, such a nobody. I mean, I remember Vince Jr. used to be there. I never recall seeing Vince's father at TV or anywhere. I cannot recall it. So it wasn't like a frequent thing. But Vince, he would walk past you, and I don't expect him to stop and ask me how my mother is. But if I was the owner's son and you guys were job boys, I would say, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" I wouldn't know your name, I wouldn't care. But at least I would acknowledge you as a human being as we passed in a hallway. Vince didn't do that.
Really?
Vince has a contempt for the wrestlers. Yeah. So I'm sure he got
the
from his father.
The lower card wrestlers? Or
Well, the wrestlers, he doesn't show it to the top guys, but I believe just for the overall wrestlers, Vince is pretty contemptuous of them.
Okay. All right, and is that something that's noteworthy at this time? He's not the boss, so I guess that doesn't matter that much now. So yeah.
No, but I mean, somebody I'm working for the same company, I would tend to say, "Hey, how you doing?" But not Vince. He wouldn't even make eye contact with me.
Wow.
I mean, not just one time. He was preoccupied. I mean, every time you passed him,
And it wasn't just you; it was consistent with all the other guys.
I'm sure it was. Every other job guy got treated that way. I'm sure.
But now you're on television, so is that a bit of a thrill for you?
It's kind of cool, yeah, being on TV. Yeah,
you're local guys, so people are seeing you.
But I had the mindset I couldn't get too much into being, I'm on TV, look at me, when I'm not making any money doing it. That's just how I am, and that's not, some of you guys aren't like that. I'm on TV, they tell all their friends. I never told a single person to watch.
Really?
Well, I wasn't making any money.
How old are you at this time? 81.
81, oh, it was 57, 67, 70, 24,
okay.
23.
The stars that you're putting over, are they appreciative?
No, not particularly, not at all.
Really?
No.
Not a thank you? A heartfelt thank you?
No, not at all. I'm sure there was I can't recall it, but I'm sure there was a thank you in the dressing room, but never would be a heartfelt thank you. And Mil Mascaras, what a prick he was. I remember one time, now here's the office. Now, we're going home to Jersey. We passed by the airport, but not right by it. So they asked us to drop Mascaras off. Did they throw us a $20 bill? Did they throw us anything? No, we got paid $50 to wrestle 3 times, And Mascaras gets in, and I saw Mil Mascaras without his mask. Ooh, nobody out there can say that. I did. I'm the man.
What did he say in the car?
Oh, amigo, we're here. Make big money there, amigo. Oh, over there, amigo. Big money. Oh, yeah, I make big money. You must have said big money 20 times.
Talking about his WWF paydays.
No, it's all over.
All over the world.
All over the world.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't slip us a nickel. If I was making big money, I would have said, fellas, here's a 50, have you stuff a couple beers. Not Mill.
He was not very giving in the ring. Is this true?
Oh my God, no! He gave you nothing. He had that little mincing thing where he
Yes.
went away backwards. And one time I was just pissed at, and he was on top of, and I just hooked him and rolled and wound up with me him right on top of him and him on his back. He came out of there. I was surprised how strong he was.
Yeah.
He came out of there hard and fast. He was not going to let me get a false finish. Not going to let me get a 1-2.
Right.
Because he's Mil Mascaras. About as big as my cock. Excuse, I'm allowed to say that?
Did that? Well, you're doing well for yourself if that's the case. Do you put a little mask on it? I wonder.
No. Two masks. He had two masks, you know.
Do you?
I always wore two masks.
Anyone take advantage of you in the ring in that position as a younger guy?
No, I never thought so. Maybe
Okay.
they did, and I didn't know it. I was too dumb to know it. But I didn't think so.
Gorilla's running TV at the time, right?
Right.
He's giving you your finishes, I guess, your times.
We didn't really get
Order.
times. I think we let the experienced guys worry about the times.
Right.
We were just basically out there to get beat up.
And unlike today, there's no copious discussion about what we're going to do when we get in the ring, right?
No.
You told the finish, maybe, and that was about it?
Yeah, it wasn't any big back, because there wasn't going to be any back and forth.
Right.
I remember one time my brother, and I don't know this guy very well, Stan Hansen, if you remember him.
Sure, we worked with
He
him.
talked to my brother was a big guy, 6'5", taller than me. Well, and pretty, well built, not fat. And he just wanted to get a little bit in the match with Stan, and Stan, I said, I laughed and said, "What do you want? Some false finishes?" Well, why would that be? A guy 6'5", 260 pounds. Why would that be so unheard of, getting a false finish against you? But see, those matches back then were pure slaughters.
Right.
They were. I tell you, I don't know why anybody nowadays buys a pay-per-view or goes to a house show when they can see main event matches on Raw every week.
Right.
I don't understand.
No, you're right. You wrestled the Intercontinental Champion, Pedro Morales, at the time.
Yes.
At the Ag Hole. How are those stomach punches, Bundy?
Oh, no problem at all. I remember, though, in Cicluna, Baron Mikel Cicluna, who was an old prick, he totally laughed because I had Pedro back, Pete back, and boom, I nailed him right on the chin. And a nice, busted him up a little bit. And he didn't.
Cicluna popped for it.
Yeah, Cicluna was really laughing. He really got into that. And I was, very apologetic because I certainly didn't mean to do that. But Pete was cool about it.
Was Pedro okay in the ring? To work?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Pedro was fine.
Your first match against Hogan is in Japan, February 1st, 1985.
I don't know how you find that stuff out.
Not long before you
You must have a
wrestled for
room
WrestleMania.
full of researchers and
This
statisticians and archivists.
We're going to give the secret. There's this thing we have called the internet.
Yeah, how's that work?
It's hot stuff. Well, I'll show you later.
All right.
Gal Gore invented it.
We'll keep that like the place of the
Well, no, this,
DVDs and
there's a lot of
we'll
false
keep
information
it
out
a
there, so
secret.
you got to sift the fact from the fiction. But we're fairly certain that in Narita, Japan, on February 1st, in front of 3,600 people.
No. There was 3,700 people there.
Oh,
I
you're
remember
right.
that show.
You're right. I told you can't believe anything. He goes over you via disqualification in a non-title match. Now he's the World Wrestling Federation
Yes.
champion at the time.
Yes.
Is this your first meeting with him?
No, when I went to TV for the first time, the very first time Hulk was there as a heel, and
Okay.
I met him. He was a friend of Larry Sharp who trained me and my brother, and he came out and we talked for a few minutes outside the dressing room.
Was he cool?
Very cool.
Did he stay
Couldn't have been
cool
cooler.
over the arc of his career? It was Hogan.
I've had people, I know a man that I trust as much as any man in this business, and I believe him. And he told me in the last couple of years that Hulk has changed. But
Now?
yes, I would have to see that for myself because, we'll tell you later.
Okay.
Hulk was good to me.
How was he in the ring?
Good, never hurt you. Sometimes when you drop the leg, his ass would hit your face. One time I worked him like 3 times in a row. I had an imprint of his balls right here when his ass landed on my face when he was dropping the leg, but never a problem. He was good. He'd ask you, I don't know, are we throwing out kayfabe here? Kayfabe's dead, right?
So, I mean, you
It's
can't close
done.
the barn door after the animals
You're
are
right
out.
about that. But he'd ask if you wanted to get some color. And of course, I never said yes. I never asked anybody to get color. I remember one time I was down.
Oh, he would say to you, "Do you want me to get color for you?"
Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, he got me my job there. But you know that idiot Sid, and I like Sid, but one time we're working down in Memphis, independent show with Lawler, and he's talking about me getting color. And, you know, I've done it 50 times maybe, which is a cherry, a baby, a virgin practically, compared to guys like Flair and Dusty. And I say, yeah, if the powers that be want me to. Well, it turns out that nobody wants me to. It's basically just Stu, just Sid. And I come to find out in the conversation, he'd never gotten color. Yeah. I said, Stu, I'm not doing it if you've never done it. Why do you want me to do it so bad? And he's perverse, Stu, Sid.
Let me talk. You said something here that was interesting about Hogan getting you the job. Is it a result of him working with you in Japan?
Everything I said hasn't been interesting? Because that's what I'm here for, Shawnee.
There's a gradient of interesting, and the most interesting to me right now.
But does it vary? I know there's a gradient, but does it vary?
The meter goes up and down, and it's high right now on, is this the match that convinces Hogan that, well, this is a guy I want to work against, I should tell McMahon.
He just saw a big young guy, that he could beat. It could be. I don't think so. No, it wasn't any special match. Not that any of mine were. But,
what's the initial conversation with Vince like when you get the call?
Well, Hulk set it up for me, and basically I said, when you talk about you'll sign a contract. What does the contract include, Vince? I asked, and he said everything up to and including your firstborn. And that was quite accurate. And I said, okay. So what kind of money can I expect? 'Cause these are questions I ask promoters. What kind of money can I expect to make until I start working for Terry? And he gave me a number, and he mentioned they had a big show coming up, which was WrestleMania 1, which would be a big payoff, and it was a good payoff. So that was basically it.
You were given an annual guarantee figure?
No. Well, yeah. Everybody back. You didn't know we had a guarantee?
No, you didn't.
Please. We had a guarantee. You're going to tell me my business, Sean?
A guarantee that you would. Oh God, my microphone. I don't care about my well-being. It's the production.
Eric, where's Eric? Oh, well, no, I thought Eric was here.
This is part of the turn.
I thought my security was here. Forget it. Sorry I said that. Yes, you are guaranteed 10 shots a year at $150 a shot.
Right. Okay.
It's a guarantee.
What does he tell you that entices you enough to sign away your firstborn?
You're going to make money.
100 grand.
You can't
be audited for 7 years after the tax returns in. So don't worry about it. I'm talking about 1985.
What do you mean? It was a joke. I didn't think he was serious.
100?
What's that?
100?
Are you asking how much I made?
What were you told you could make coming to? I'm Vince McMahon, and I want to entice you to sign with me. Do I have to dangle 100
He didn't give a number. He said
did.
You'll be well taken care of.
Okay.
And he mentioned the big show. Vince is you're never gonna pin him down to a number, because then he would have to keep his word. He doesn't have to keep his word. He never does.
Did you? Was it ever? I mean, you knew that Hogan was asking you because you were somebody he wanted to work with, right?
Right.
So you knew you were going to get a run with the champ.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do you need to know? Good point.
Right. That was it. Your debut as King Kong Bundy.
It's the WWE.
Is it?
WWF, I mean. It's the big time.
Yeah.
It's everybody's dream.
Now, this is when you came in with the cape and the sunglasses. What is the deal?
I always liked the cape and the sunglasses. I just thought something funny. And I always liked them, but, I was never locked into anything. You know what I mean? If I had my way over, you know what I wish I would have done? I should have gone and said, Vince, I don't like my gimmick. Can you think of a gimmick for me? And then I would have been Vince's creation. Vince's creation is always going to do better than Vince's something that's not Vince's creation. That would have been genius, Sean. But,
You did okay.
Yeah, but I could have done a lot better. A lot better. I mean, for what I was. I'm not saying I was anything great, but I look like a professional wrestler. This business, people don't realize it, and I swear to God, I think they're wrong. This business is about physical stature. It's about looking at that guy walk down the aisle and saying, my God, would I want to be in the ring with that guy? That's what it's about. And they've lost that.
Yeah.
They've lost it. It's gone.
I often use you in my
It's
example
gone.
in shows when I talk about walking into a room surrounded by King Kong Bundy, the Samoans,
Yes.
Andre the Giant, Tony
And now you got
Atlas,
guys
and
like
now it
Shawn
could be a
Michaels.
baseball team.
Woman that give me a ride up here. Her big hero, the one she loves so much, is Chris Jericho. I took a dump this morning bigger than Chris Jericho. I mean, come on. You know what he would be? He would have been, and I got nothing against Chris. I've told him for years, I've told people, tell Jericho I'm after him, because he said Jerichoholics. I was saying Bundaholics 30 years ago. People don't know that. He stole that from me. But I tell him, I had a chance to meet him, but I didn't feel like waiting around an extra 5 minutes. But I got nothing against the kid. I've told people over the years I'm going to get him.
But yeah, I understood that, stature has a lot to do with the impression.
It's everything. That's like Kevin Nash. I sat down and Kevin a couple of years ago just to say hello. I don't know him that well. But I always liked him. He seemed like a nice guy. And I said, you never should have been champion. And he said, yeah, I agree with you. I didn't even have 300 matches. And I said, Kev, I'm fucking with you. I think you were a great champion because you could work, you could do everything Hogan did, everything Backlund did, everything Bruno did, and he had physical stature coming out his ass.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I don't mean to digress.
The sporting the look.
Vince said to me, he said, I don't want you to be covered up. First of all, I want people to see those eyes and to see your body. And that was it. They were gone. I didn't argue with them.
Okay.
I just wish I'd done that. I would have done something. It's like Tito. Good guy, good worker, good athlete. But he was Tito Santana. He was Vince McMahon's creation. That helped his career. Trust me.
He was there a long time.
Whew.
Strike Force, Matador. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Point taken. Brooklyn Brawler, perhaps. You can. Been there a long time too, probably because he was given the gimmick.
Well, why was he there a long time?
He was given the gimmick.
A Brooklyn
Someone
Brawler?
gave him the gimmick.
Yeah, that was it. I'm sure that was it.
Who came up with the 5 count?
Bill Watts, Mid-South Wrestling. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Wish I had thought of it. I should say I did. What's wrong with me? See, I don't have the heart of a wrestler. Tito said, can I digress for a second?
Yeah.
Tito calls me one time, like Pat Patterson, back in the day. Pat Patterson, how was your match tonight, Bundy? What am I going to say? It was okay. The people, I think they bought it. It was okay. Nobody booed me out of the place. I said, it was okay. Tito looks at me, the way you'd look at a little kid who just screwed up something you shouldn't screw up. You know what I mean? You should know that by now. He said, Bundy, come here. He said, and he was so right. He was so right with this advice. He said, if they didn't see the match, you tell them it was great. The people were jacking off in the ring. They were going nuts. They were throwing shit, blah, blah, chairs. He said, that way, when later somebody says, hey, how was Bundy's match tonight? That's the way wrestlers are. It was great. The people were jacking off.
Right.
See, Tito knew how to play that game. I didn't. I wasn't good at it.
Gotcha. There are a bunch of managers there at the time. How are managers chosen to be with a particular talent?
I couldn't tell you that, Sean. I don't know. I was very happy, and I liked Jimmy Hart personally, but he was not my kind of manager.
Okay,
he's
good
a little
point.
He's a little running heelish manager. I needed a manager like Bobby.
Right.
That was stupid to put me with Jimmy.
But you didn't have any input.
No,
This was
no,
a
sir.
decision
None
from
at all.
above.
Right.
You set the record because you pinned SD Jones in what was announced as 9 seconds, but is 24. Was the error? I just remember seeing this as a kid. Was the error when you shoot him in? He was supposed to stay up in the turnbuckle for your avalanche, right?
No.
Didn't he go down?
The beginning, I do remember that, but I think he got back up relatively. I can't remember.
I think you had to go over.
But I
and
think
kinda-
what happened was the bell was supposed to ring, ding, ding. He's supposed to charge me.
Yes.
Supposed to scoop in the bear. He stood there and looked at me, which he was just being a dickhead because he didn't want to lose in 9 seconds.
Really?
Which made me lose respect for him. Because one thing I've always done, I remember work was what it was. I always did everything, and I swear on this, to my best ability. If they told me to put somebody over, I made him look as good as I could. I'm pretty sure I can't remember an exception. But yeah, and that's SD. I kind of lost some respect for him there.
Did you have a discussion with him afterwards,
Nah,
or
no point.
Did the locker room?
He's a long-time veteran. I wasn't gonna,
Okay.
I appreciate him putting me over that quick anyway. And I did like him personally. He was always nice to me. He had been nice to me in my first pro match in the big building. But he loved to carp about it for years that he made more money for that match than me, which I don't know if he did or not.
That couldn't be
But
true.
he said he did. I don't know.
There's no way
I
on
didn't
earth.
argue. I couldn't care less.
He was ribbing you. Man, slaying the giant, it doesn't get any bigger than that. Are you aware of the things you're being given now? Record pinfall at Madison Square Garden, first WrestleMania.
I thought it was Toronto, you said.
Well, no, record in WrestleMania.
Oh.
Now, a couple of months later, 3-4 months later.
You know, it's funny. I never thought it. You said that. No, I didn't.
This is WWF. No one's getting that
I didn't
shit.
realize what I was being given.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what I was being given.
How about Andre?
Yeah, I knew it, but see, I'll be honest with you. Every place I ever went, I was a top guy. I was in the main event or semi-main event. I never went to work the target. When I went down to work for Mulligan, I was working with Mulligan's kid in the semi-main event. I was never. And then I went to Dallas and had a little baby face thing there, but then I started working. So I was always in the main event. So
Now you're at the Garden now.
yeah.
Bigger stage, maybe. When you first learned that you two were going to be paired for the main event of WrestleMania 2, as far as getting there, do you guys get together at all and have any of the decisions about, have any say in the decisions about like the Arizona thing that's coming up?
No, I'm sure Hulk
How
did.
to advance
I
things.
did.
Okay.
I was nothing. None.
Really?
None.
You're just
Nope.
told where to go and what to
So-
do.
Exactly. Now I'm sure Hulk had, gave a lot of feedback and got what he wanted done, but that's, the talent, we're like lesser beings. You don't understand the mindset of that company. It's like, and I didn't care personally. These guys that always want to be saying, use me like this, I always said to the guy, that's when I was there in 95, I didn't bitch. I always said, if you should be on top, you'd be on top. So shut the fuck up. And that's why I left like a thief in the night in 95 when I was there. It's, I don't want to, I always, and I'm very grateful wrestling, I had some success in it, but I always it's such bullshit,
What is?
wrestling. I mean, it's two grown men in their underwear pretending they're fighting.
Yes.
I couldn't get into it as much as I wish I could have, like some guys did, and love it. Like, maybe it's
But you
because
dedicated your entire life to it. I don't understand.
maybe because I was an amateur wrestler. I don't know.
Okay, so you had
Somebody
less
is-
respect.
I could not care less if I got beat in a wrestling ring. If you beat me, your partner beat me, one of your guys beat me. Some guys, Tito will be at an independent show now, and you say, well, there's no sense beating anybody, no sense getting anybody hurt, like hurting your rep and hurting your spot in the territory. And there is no spot in the territory. It's wrestling. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But I know, like, well, we can't. Oh, he can't do a job here. It's his hometown.
Well, maybe those people were taking it too seriously. I don't know that
Yeah.
that you should take the shine off yourself by saying
Well, I'm not
you were
taking any
you
shine
were a
off myself.
businessman. You were a businessman.
Right. Yeah, it was strictly a business to me. But some of these guys, this was their dream. Like when they were kids, they
Yeah.
watch wrestling and want to be a wrestler. And I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I wish I had that.
Well, then their dream wasn't to be a wrestler. Their dream was to win wrestling matches. Because to be a wrestler, you got to lose.
Yeah.
Does the perception of you among the other wrestlers change when they find out, whoa, this guy's going to be the main event with Hogan?
Please, not.
An impressive quick win at Madison Square Garden, and you
Excuse
get
me.
involved in a lumberjack match, in Hogan's match against Savage that evening. So I guess that's one way that they can kind of keep you in the periphery,
Yeah,
but
I
not
could do
have
something
to,
dirty.
right? Then the following month, only I guess 3 weeks before it,